Hello everybody and welcome to Creativity Time. Oh, gotta catch my breath, I was running. Creativity Time with Tatiana. I am Tatiana, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia and also part of the 2021 Artisan Design Team. Thank you so much for joining me. I am thrilled that you have, and I'll turn down the volume so that you don't hear me twice. I am so excited. Yesterday was the launch of the July to December, even though it's August, thanks COVID, mini catalogue, and one of the standout sweets for me in this catalogue was the Gingerbread and Peppermint. So we're going to take a look at some of the products and create a card. So let's flip and have a look. Here we are. So this is the mini catalogue, and I can finally show the inside now that it launched yesterday. And this is the double page spread with the Gingerbread and Peppermint sweet. Just bring that up closer so you can see. Isn't that a beautiful catalogue? Look at all those fun samples. This is absolutely adorable. It is so small, it fits in the palm of your hand. Hello people. I see people joining me, which is wonderful. And then the suite is actually a mega, well, not a full mega suite. Oh, anyway. It has stamp set dies, standalone dies, memory and more cards, memory and more note cards and envelopes. Beautiful ribbon. What are those called? Number 6. Gingerbread and Peppermint acrylic shapes, craft paper, some masks, and designer series paper, which is 6x6. So I have a card design in mind. I was on Pinterest earlier today and I saw this card by, I've got to get it right, Joanne Stubbling. It was a card challenge, well, it was a challenge, but it was a layout challenge, and I just really love her interpretation of it. So we're going to be inspired by that. Hers was floral. We are going to be cookies. Because if you haven't noticed, I have started cookie decorating. Well, actually, I only shared one thing at Easter, but I've done more since then. And these are so cute. So the dies cut out these cookie shapes, and then you have these intricate dies to do the icing, which is a lot of fun. Now, if you've received my catalogue in the mail, you would have seen that I use that on the card that comes with the catalogue. And we'll use a sentiment from the set. We won't be stamping anything, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We will use the masks. So these are the masks. There's some icing swirls, some snowflakes, some stripes, and some, I don't know, what do you call that? Dots, triangular dots. That reminds me of golf. Anyhow, we're going to do a real red base. Let's make it really Christmassy. So I'm going to pick real red because the ribbon is real red. Let me just double check that. Yes, the ribbon. Here's the ribbon. It's so cute. And it's real red. So let's get some real red cardstock. And I'm going to cut it in half for my card base. And then score on the other half to make the card base. And Joanne is saying, is the last one a herringbone pattern? No, it's not. Just bring that back in. Let's put it behind the red. There you go, Joanne. It's not a herringbone. My parents had a herringbone floor, so I would have recognized that. And we will need 2 bits with a stitched rectangle. I'm just not sure which size I want. That is the perfect size. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to cut this in half because I don't want to waste cardstock. And I'm going to be able to get both my stitched rectangles out of that half. Put the trimmer away. Oh, actually, okay, I'm going to quickly have that again because I want to use the masks on those bits, but I want to use 2 different masks because I can. Stitched rectangles away. Golf socks. Not a David Jones bag. No, not a David Jones bag. David Jones, again, I am very familiar with because I worked there. And we are going to do the stripes. And we will do, let's do snowflakes. Let's do snowflakes. Okay, should get some grid paper out. That would be a good start, particularly once you start blending. And I'm going to take real red ink. Here we go. And a blending brush. And I want this very subtle, so I don't need too many layers. Got some of this. It's like post-it note paper. I'm going to tape it down ever so slightly. Actually, I should do the sides. We've got more leeway with the sides because I'm going to be die cutting this out with the stitched rectangle. And now I can put that on top, and just for a bit of security. And I should have moved that over so I could tape both of these down at once. But I guess with the snowflakes, doesn't hugely matter again because I'm using the same rectangle. As long as the snowflakes are there, it's not a big deal. So you don't have to tape them down. That's my personal preference when I'm using a mask and the blending brush. That's my real red. Circular motions on the ink pad to pick up the ink. And then I find best to start off your paper, so onto your grid paper and in circular motions. But with this, because it's stripes, it's harder to do the circular motion. So I'm just going to blend. Oh, see, I'm glad it's taped down. Now these masks, when they are in the catalogue, it was suggested to use embossing paste with them. So that's going to be enough because I don't want it too dark. I don't want it to be the feature of the card, just a subtle thing. And then the snowflakes are a lot easier to blend on. So a bit more, you can dab. And then starting off and in circular motions. Now the good thing about taping it down is that if you're not sure if you like the effect, you can lift and see. Now, I don't even know if the camera's picking that up. It is quite subtle, and that was my aim. Can you see how subtle that is? Oh, nope, that was moved. I moved it. I'm going to have to keep the subtleness because I'm not going to be able to line that back up. But if you stick it down properly and allow yourself to lift and move, you'll be able to see this, be able to add if you don't want it so subtle. I actually did want it subtle, but I thought for camera purposes it might be good not to be so subtle. You can see that the stripes are there, and because I did do real red paper, cardstock, and real red ink, it is subtle. If you wanted a quicker, darker, more contrast, pick a darker red on top or pick a darker color on top. You get the picture. Anyhow, put that to the side, and we're now going to die cut that out. And conveniently, I've cut it down to fit into my little mini Baileys here for the rescue. Mini Bailey's missing a plate. There we are. Not missing, just didn't grab. How is everybody? Now, if you felt like it, because of the charming COVID situation we're finding with the Delta strand currently in Australia, I thought it might be fun if you could nominate someone to receive this card in the mail to just brighten their day. I was doing this last year, so nominations will stay open for a week until my next creativity time live. And there we go, there's one. And all you have to do is say, I'd like to nominate. You don't even have to say their name. Oh, I was trying to keep the top plate and the cutting plate. Oh, so you don't have to say their name, just say, I want to nominate my friend or my sister, my brother, my mother, etc. And just be sure that they wouldn't mind you sharing privately with me their address. And if there's a few nominations, I'll draw it out. If there's just one, I'll send it to that one person and let them know that you nominated them to receive the card because you were thinking of them. It's as simple as that. I'll do all the work. You just let me know. And maybe a nice little reason as to why you would like to nominate them. You know, they're stuck in lockdown. Technically, Joanne, I am not in lockdown. So we are very fortunate here on the Mid North Coast. We have restrictions, don't get us wrong. We have restrictions, but we are not in lockdown. I'm taking my real red card base and scoring it. And forgot that I actually do want this piece of cardstock as well. I'm going to just trim that down to my standard card front size, which is 10 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters. Oh no, 14.8 is the big one, 14.3 is my card front. Anyone watching in lockdown? I hope you're going well if you are. Now in Joanne's card, Joanne Stubley that is, whom I'm inspired by today, she had this piece embossed with the subtle embossing folder, which we unfortunately no longer have. Just having a look. Could do the tasteful textures. Yeah, let's do that. So I haven't embossed anything in a while, I just really wanted to. So this is the Tasteful Textures 3D embossing folder. And for a 3D embossing folder, we're bringing our plate here. We will need plate 1 and plate 4. So this is 1, the embossing folder, and then 4 is the grey one. And bring in Big Bailey for that. There are embossing folders that fit through the mini, but this one was not one that would. Oh. Joanne's daughter had to delay her wedding. Bummer. That's so hard. Okay, embossed. Oh, I like that. And what I'm going to do is stick all of that down straight away because those are the bits that I want and where I want them. Now I'm sure for you on camera, you're like, was there any purpose in embossing this? But there, bring it in closer and you can see the texture. I gotta say, I don't love it as much as I loved the, what was it called? Don't love it as much as I loved the subtle, but it's a reasonable replacement. And so now I'm going to put these 2 stitched rectangles as so. Making sure I don't put the glue on the side that we decorated. Which way did I have that? So there's our card base all ready to rumble. And now what we need to do is create our cookies. I don't know which 3 I want to use yet, so we'll cut out all 4. And I have to say I am loving cinnamon cider for this. You need to grab a new piece. It's like the perfect cookie color. It's interesting. Do you think it may have been on purpose? I totally think Stampin' Up released this gingerbread set now because of the cinnamon cider. I'm just trimming that down to 3 inches because that's a nice width to use with the mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. And I'm going to, so these dies are 2 layers. We've got the intricate layer and we've got the outside. And 3 of them coordinate with the stamp set, so you can die cut out the Christmas bauble, the bell, and the snowflake. No star stamp, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm going to cut out all 3. Or 4. One can count today. Definitely want the snowflake because we've done the snowflake masking. Come on. There we go. Die cutting that through. Those bits out and then do the snowflake. Woo, don't move. This is why you should just place things down and not do them up in the air, because then they actually work properly. You know, silly me. And we are going to cut out the intricate, the icing parts as well, but we're going to cut it out from this beautiful paper over here. Now this is from a different suite, but it's the snowy white velvet sheets, and it's pretty much the same to the velveteen or the sheets that we had a few years ago with that out of publication snowflake set. This feels amazing. I'm just putting it down to 3 inches so it can fit through the mini. And I mean, it doesn't feel like icing. It's so soft. It's so cool. The kids really liked it. But even though it's not icing feeling, it kind of gives you this look as opposed to regular paper that makes it feel like it, not feel, touch feel, but look feel that it could be icing. Does that make sense? Look at that, I could fit all 4 onto there. Cover with my top plate and run it through. Oh. Hello, Roz. Thanks for joining. And with these, I did find it a good idea to run them through a few times. Actually, I didn't even try running them with once. I just went with a few times straight away, because then you can really push out all the bits super easy. It does get a little messy, but totally worth it. Where is that I've got my take your pick tool pronunciation, and I have, there it is, the die brush. And that is super helpful for getting all those bits out really easily. So there, it's popped out from there. And then the tool brush actually comes with this foam. I don't tend to use it, I tend to just hold it over the bin. But you can see how easy all those bits, pretty much all of them, came out. And that bit isn't supposed to. That's supposed to stay attached. Super easy. And I guess the foam just gives you a nice little padded bit and pushes those bits out. And any bits that you don't pull out, there's a nice handy little pokey tool. But I do this over the bin, so I hold them in my hand. Do it like that, and so all the bits just, well, fall into my hand, but then into the bin. These ones are attaching to all the swirls. Honestly, I wish you could feel, so anyone who received my catalogue in the mail with their little special thank you card, well, it's not a thank you card, with their little card gift as part of being my customer, you will find that I used this paper on those cutouts, and it feels amazing. So we go, and I'm going to bring in the grid sheet again. Hello, Kathy. And what we're going to do is take this is cinnamon cider paper, and I'm going to take cinnamon cider ink and another blending brush. I'm trying to get one, like not for every color as in 50, but you know, one for browns, one's for reds. And then you can wash them. And I'm going to blend some ink on the edge. I'm going a bit harder than I did the masking earlier on today, because I want this to be a bit more obvious. But don't forget, we're going to put the white layer on top, so it's not going to be super obvious. But if I compare these two pieces up close to camera, you can see the difference. And to me, that just makes it look a bit more like a cookie. A cooked gingerbread cookie as opposed to a raw gingerbread cookie. Does that make sense? Gotta cook those cookies. I'm so gonna try to make cookies and decorate them just like the stamp set. I'm probably insane for trying. My icing skills are not that great. But it's definitely a challenge that I'd like to take on. And you can see I find a lot more control with my blending brush when I hold it by the head. I kind of rest the handle in the palm of my hand. You can certainly hold it back there, and it has this nice flexibility on the neck, and it works beautifully. But particularly when picking up ink, I feel that I have a lot more control. And so I like that. So much we can't control in our lives, so if I can control a little bit of inking, I will. Let's clear up the grid paper. Ta-da! And bring in our pieces. So star, star, snowflake, there. And ideally, I should have put the double adhesive tape, and that would make this bit a lot easier to stick down. But, you know, hindsight, I got so excited about doing this. So I'm just putting small amounts of the multi-purpose liquid glue, and these sit inside. They do not go to the edge. And there we have it. How cute is that? It's seriously cute. This one's the easiest to glue because you've got this nice big space here, and then you've got a nice big space at the bottom, and then here as well. Can you tell I've glued these a few times? I don't know where the big spaces were. Of course, with the liquid glue, there's a lot bit that wiggle room exists as opposed to the adhesive sheet where there isn't any wiggle room. Up to you. I highly recommend the adhesive sheet. It's a lot less messier. Yeah, and my favorite is the Snowflake. It's a beautiful Snowflake themed set bundle in the catalogue too. You get to purchase it because you know you can't have it all straight away. Got to spread out, and don't forget, with every $90 purchase here in Australia, you can pick a free celebration item. And then if you spend $180, you can pick 2 free celebration items or one of the bigger celebration items. So I don't know why I'm trying to move the grid paper. It can stay. It's allowed to stay. And I know we'll use 3 on the front, and then the 4th one can go on the inside. So waste not, want not. Now I feel like the star and the snowflake are quite similar. But one could argue the same with the bell. So I'm going to arrange them. Actually, I really like that as so. And keep that there. And we need our sentiment. And I'm just trying to think, what colour do we want to put the sentiment on? I think the icing coat will be, you're the icing to my gingerbread, because they do look like gingerbread cookies, don't they? And so I will move them like that. Yeah, that will look good right there. And I'm just thinking, do we want to try black and white heat emboss, or should we do I think we'll do what is it? Cinnamon cider. We'll do the cinnamon cider, heat emboss that. So we'll need Versamark ink for that. Or cinnamon cider white. Well, let's do one of each and see what. So Joanne's suggesting white cardstock with cinnamon cider ink, which is a good idea, but I think it's too much white. It's, you know, the icing's the opposite way. But let's do both and see. Grabbing my white embossing powder. Why does my desk look so messy? And because it's easier for me, I'm going to stamp. I'm going to stamp it more in the middle, and we can trim it that way to whatever we need. I've become lazy with embossing. I've started dipping my bits in. Lid. One lid down. That's the other lid. And need to unplug something so I can plug in. You know, when you've got 2 lights and 2 chargers, there's no space for the heat tool. Letting that heat up, and let's watch the magic happen. There we go. Magic's starting to happen. Beautiful. And I'm kind of lining the top of the sentiment there with right there on my trimmer. And then using the markings, the measurement markings now for the other side so that it's straight. So that's that. Now I know these aren't very traditional Christmas colors, but can I just say I am loving the gingerbread look for Christmas. I really like that, but I will quickly, because it's not that difficult. And look, I have a piece of Whisper White, just so that we can see and be sure that we like. Oh, Joanne says perfect, even though it was your idea. So if I do this, maybe the white will work actually. Bring in a bit more contrast. What do we think? I'd like to hear your opinion. Which color do you prefer? So give me a thumbs up if you'd like the white. So some thumbs up, please. And if you prefer the cinnamon cider, give me a love heart. Or you can type. So I'm just waiting for the video to catch up. Once again, for cinnamon cider, it's a love heart. And for the basic white, give me a thumbs up. You're right, too much white. So Joanne is preferring the cinnamon cider, which is the love heart. No, that's the thumbs up. It would be good if I keep track. Ha ha ha. Now, if you have voted, I may have missed it. I turned off. I'm saying love hearts. I'm saying love hearts. Can someone remind me which one was love hearts? Oh, the cinnamon cider was love hearts. I did the white first. Yep. I saw love hearts and cinnamon cider was love hearts. So we're going to go with the cinnamon cider. But it's always nice to check. So this is what I do when I craft all the time. I go, oh, which way would be better? And I try it out. How else are you going to know for sure? Tanya says cinnamon cider. Whether that's your vote or whether you're telling me that was the love heart vote. I don't know, but we're going with cinnamon cider. So we're going to line up that. That could cover, I'll trim that down. Sticking the grid paper down and it just didn't stay, and it annoyed me that it didn't stay. Now, before I start sticking things down, I'm going to grab some of this wonderful ribbon, and it is going to go as so. And for that, I've run out of, let's use, for adhering that, we're going to just, this is the Stampin' Steel Plus. I've changed the angle there a bit, but that's okay. have a fold. So I'm folding the ribbon across and then snip, snip. Ooh, Tanya likes both. Snip, snip. Now I'm going to not get that right, am I? Ah. But the good thing is that I can remove. I can pick up the ribbon and move it, not remove it, move it around. So that's what I like about using, well, tear and tape works the same way as well, or the stamp and seal, is that you can maneuver the ribbon a bit and get it to where you want. And now let's put that on some dimensionals, because, you know, dimensionals are fun. We'll put the cookies on dimensionals as well. So I had that one. Rearranging these a little bit so that the ribbon shows through. We can put that one there so that the ribbon, so we can still see the ribbon, because otherwise what's the point of having a ribbon? Now I'm using my finger to mark where I need to put some glue, because that's going to sit there, and then add some dimensionals at the bottom. I'm going to make sure I cover up the other bit. So as so. I like the position I had before, but I don't remember it. There. Now remember, my card flips open this way, and the envelopes are a little bit bigger, so I can have things hanging off the edge. And that's what I'm going to do. So again, glue will go there, just an itty bitty amount. And get that off. Making sure we don't cover. And then a snowflake. So that one is going to have the glue. Now you can go really overboard with the snowflakes and dimensionals, which I have, but I'm not going to make you suffer with that. And there we go. How cute is that? And finally, what we need to do is decorate the inside and the envelope. So, you know, I forget to grab these things ahead of time. There's my envelope and inside. Let's start with the inside, because if I can find it on this desk. There's another piece. Come on, people. It's like a disappearing vault. You all saw me cut that extra piece. I would add the white bit to it. Let's see. Maybe a slight tidy up will be sufficient to reveal our missing piece. What shape was it? It was the star. Now I even know what I'm looking for. Can anyone see the star? Ah, nope, nope, nope. Freaking kidding me. Oh, you're joking, right? I cut it out and everything. See, evidence that it was cut. Anybody? Can you see it? Let's see. Not in here. There's my thing. If I flip that, it's not attached to anything on the other side. I've checked before. Aha! Found it! I found it! So we're going to add the star to the inside there. But I'm going to, oh, is this, nope, it's all good. I was going to say that's the glue that doesn't work very well. So that didn't have any glue. And I do have it hanging off the edge a little bit, which we will, I did think of that too, Joanne. Joanne suggested the inside of the card for the location of the star. But I found it. There's my inside. And what shall we do for the envelope? Something different. Now you really didn't need to add the masking. Like the camera, there we go. It ever so slightly picks it up. It's very, very subtle. But I really like that subtleness. Whoever gets this card, I do hope they realize the subtleness of the masking there. Perhaps I should have gone a little bit darker. There's my envelope. And, oh, I know what we're going to do with the envelope. We're going to take the Snowflake one, which is, of course, the one I can't see on my desk now. There it is. We're going to ever so slightly emboss. So we're going to take the Snowflake, place it on our envelope flap as so, and I've got to remember how we do this. We'll need to use the big Stamp and Cut Emboss machine. This was a artisan design tip. Can't remember who of the artisans shared this recently. I'll have to look that up. But I thought it was a great tip. From memory, you use the usual plates. So you need your 1, 2, 3 base plate. But the difference is, instead of placing, so you place down your paper. The envelopes are slightly wider, but that's right, we're not going through. But instead of placing your die to cut, which would be yay, we're going to flip it and have the cutting edge facing up, so not touching the paper. And then we're going to put our plate 3 on top as well and put that through. And I'm going to go back and forth. And it's very subtle, but you can just see there. How good is that? You can see the snowflake on the envelope. So that's, and then of course it does cut the plate that you're using on top because, you know, you've got that cutting edge up. But it's embossed the paper. It works a lot better on cardstock comparatively to an envelope because the envelope is thinner, so it's less obvious, less indentation or less pressing in. But, so the tip on from the artisan showed the envelope, not the envelope, the card. But there we have it. And gingerbread. Last year's card was fun, Joanne. Joanne loves to make different cards. Well, I make everyone a different card, not individually, but groups of cards made. So there we go. You're the icing to my gingerbread. Remember, you can nominate someone to receive this in the mail next week. Well, it'll be posted next week to brighten their day. Now, this might be a little too big to fit into the envelope, so I might have to trim that ever so slightly. But it's not a big deal. you get that. And so once again, this the layout was inspired by a card I saw from Joanne Stubbs, who was doing her card as part of a sketch challenge. So I'll put that on the blog post when I blog this card. But yeah, let's flip. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are someone who's interested in purchasing the products and you're in Australia and you don't have a demonstrator of your own, know that all of the stuff is available at my online store, and I'll pop the link in the video description. Otherwise, I hope that I have inspired you. You can also get a really good deal with the joining, so you can join my team. Again, if you're not a demonstrator and you don't have a demonstrator, you can think about joining. And there is no pressure to sell, but what's really awesome, for $169, you get $235 worth of Stampin' Up products, free shipping, and you can pick those $235, and you can pick an additional bundle. So bundles range in price depending on what it is, but you can pick the most expensive bundle that you really love and get that for absolutely free, all for $169. So feel free to message and ask me for more information. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've been inspired to go out and make a card and to brighten someone's day. Okay, bye for now.